Good evening, everybody, and welcome to executive meeting tonight on Tuesday, 22nd November. Welcome to members and officers and anybody watching on YouTube. Item 1, apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Hazy. Everybody else is present. Item 2, leaders' announcements. I have nothing particular to say this evening. So item 3, minutes. Are we able to approve the minutes of our last meeting on the 25th of October?
Yeah, I'd like to propose that they're an accurate record.
Thank you. Okay, the seconder.
I'd like to second the minutes, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. D. Graham. Okay, can we take a vote? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 4, declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations of interest? Nope. Okay, we can move on then. Item 5, North of Hertford, land west of Waysmill Road, Benjo, Hart 4, Master Planning Framework. Councillor Goody.
Thank you, Chairman. Within the district plan, policy DES 1, master planning, requires all significant development proposals to prepare a master plan. Master plans should be collaboratively prepared and informed by community engagement. For the North of Hertford, land west of Wadesmill Road site, policy Hart 4 also requires a master plan to be prepared. Policy DES 1 states that in order to ensure that sites are planned and delivered comprehensively, any application for development will be assessed against its contribution to the master plan as a whole. Since the agenda report was published, an anomaly on the plans within Appendix A, Master Planning Framework, regarding the depiction of the northern boundary of the strategic site allocation has been identified and corrected. Therefore, an amended version has now been uploaded to the website and is available for viewing, which supersedes the previous document. This has necessitated a slight amendment to the report recommendation to read: A, that the North of Hertford land west of Westmill Road, Benjo, Part 4, Phase 2, Master Planning Framework, October 2022, as detailed in Appendix A to this report as amended, be agreed as a material consideration for development management purposes. Are there any comments or queries before moving on to the recommendation?
Thank you, Councillor Goody. Do we mean land west of Wadesmill Road? Thank you, just for clarification. Okay, Councillor Ruffles, you'd like to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Leader. I hope Exec sees fit to approve this master plan framework document, Part 4, tonight, and then to recommend it to Council. It's so very important that there's a design framework clearly set out for all, as debate about the future of the land in question continues generally, and members of the council were present at the last council meeting when a petition was presented to the council about the future of this site, and Councillor Crystal and I are both very involved with public discussions, and so the clarity of the design framework and the master planning process, which has been a public exercise in itself, is very, very important at this stage. And so if the decision tonight is to approve the plan, it will make more secure the requirement of the district plan so that future decisions on Hart 4 are properly controlled and in accordance with the ideals of the master planning process. So as one ward member of 3, I don't know whether Councillor Crystal will agree, I want to encourage your colleagues to support and approve the recommendation.
Thank you very much indeed, Peter. Councillor Master.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I read through the principles of the master plan framework. I think they're pretty good. I hope that they will be carried forward to any future planning application because that's really important. So this is just one part of the process, but it absolutely has to be upright. So, but looking at it at this stage, it looks very good. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Kay.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Having been involved with the master planning that goes on for the Ware, north and east of Ware process, I've seen that changes have been made because of the collaboration between all interested parties, including a variety of members of the public. And I think that that really is a good process to try and look at things and nobody gets everything 100% right, but having seen changes in the master planning process that I've been involved in, I'm sure that it can be quite flexible.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments from members? Anything officers wanted to add? Okay, fine, thank you. We have proposer from Councillor Goodeve. Do we have a seconder?
I'm very happy to second that, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Go for a vote. Okay, thank you. Nobody against, no abstentions. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on then to item 6, data protection policy. Councillor Cutting.
Thank you, Chairman. The adoption of this policy will further enhance the Council's compliance with the UK GDPR, particularly the requirement for technical and organisational measures to be implemented. Additionally, it will ensure that the Council has a mechanism in place to remain compliant with the changing UK GDPR regime, particularly in response to changes proposed by government under its data, a new direction strategy. This policy was recommended to Executive for adoption by the Overview and Scrutiny Committee in its meeting on the 8th of November last, with comments noted in Appendix 2. And therefore, move the recommendations A, B and C quoted on pages 58 and 59 of the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, George. Any comments from members? Okay, do we have a seconder?
I'm happy to second.
Thank you very much indeed. Go for a vote. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much indeed. And moving on now to item 7, surveillance technologies policy. You again, George, I believe.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. The policy will govern the Council's control and staff use of overt surveillance technologies to ensure that the Council complies with the 12 guiding principles in the Surveillance Camera Code of Practice, particularly under Principle 5, which requires clear rules, policies and procedures to be in place. Additionally, it will also ensure wider compliance with the UK GDPR. A surveillance asset register has been included in this policy to record the location and scope of surveillance used by the Council and steps taken to mitigate risks to each location. This policy was recommended to the Executive for adoption by the Overview and Scrutiny Committee in its meeting of the 8th of November last, with no comments. So, Deputy Leader, I move the recommendation A and B on page 87 of the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments first of all before we move to a vote? Okay. Do we have a seconder, please?
Yeah, happy to second, Chairman.
Indeed, Jonathan. Okay, everybody for? Thank you very much. Anybody against? No abstentions. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. So move on now to item 8, which is affordable housing needs assessment updates. Peter, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm pleased to present to the Executive tonight a report covering the recent update to the assessment of affordable housing needs in East Herts. This update is particularly important in light of the Council's new housing strategy and its drive to increase affordable housing delivery. The vast majority of new affordable homes in the district are developed as a result of agreements negotiated with private developers by the planning and housing teams. These negotiations are based on the East Herts District Plan 2018, which requires developers to discuss with the council the appropriate mix of house size, type and tenure to be provided, including, of course, affordable homes. The council's position in these discussions with developers is strengthened by being able to draw upon up-to-date information. Hence the vital importance of the Affordable Housing Needs Assessment update for East Herts completed in May 2022 by an independent consultancy and covered in detail in Appendix 1 to the report. I would like to draw members' attention to the fact that the updated figure of 315 new affordable homes being required each year until 2033 continues to support the council's policy of requiring 40% of homes to be affordable on all but the smallest sites. Furthermore, the figure supports the council's position regarding strategic sites such as the Gilston Garden Town. I'm particularly pleased to report that for the first time, affordable housing need figures at the sub-district level have been calculated. This will help housing and planning officers with efforts to negotiate the most suitable affording housing mix on sites in our towns, but also in more rural areas, such as the first affordable homes in a decade delivered in Braffing earlier this year. In short, a robust evidence base lessens the developer's ability to argue that the council's affordable housing requirement is unreasonable and unjustifiable. Therefore, I am very pleased to put forward to the executive the recommendation that the Affordable Housing Needs Assessment Update 2022 be endorsed and recommended to council to form part of the evidence base to inform development management decisions and support East Herts District Plan 2018 and any future reviews and revisions to it. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks indeed, Peter. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, thanks, Chairman. Happy to second. I think this is useful information to get this updated and by area as well. So it tells us where we've been and what we need to be working towards. My understanding is that we fare pretty well compared to some other councils in terms of delivering affordable homes. So I think that's pretty good, and that's despite the viability issues that we have from time to time from the developers. But I think a very good report and useful information for us. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. I agree. Okay, so can we go for a vote? All those in favour? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much indeed. So we move on to item 9, First Homes, adoption of a technical guidance note. Peter, again, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Before the executive tonight is the council's proposed technical advice note for developers regarding a new affordable housing product known as First Homes. First Homes are a new form of low-cost home ownership which would see a developer of a housing scheme provide homes to buy at a discount. The council's housing strategy approved by council earlier this year includes the objective of enabling a range of low-cost home ownership opportunities in the district. I know, therefore, I am not alone among my executive colleagues in wishing to see more opportunities for local people to get a foot on the housing ladder. However, Officer's analysis indicates that the First Homes product is ill-suited to the East Herts housing market. Section 3 of the covering report explains this in more detail, and the table under paragraph 3.4 highlights that the already established product known as shared ownership would be an affordable home for more working households in our district than a first home. Importantly, it is anticipated that the subsidy a developer would need to devote to providing first homes would reduce their ability to provide many or possibly any other affordable housing on that site and would make the inclusion of social rent homes all but impossible. As a result, I believe shared ownership should remain the focus of the Planning and Housing Services efforts to promote affordable home ownership. That said, although the proposed technical advice note guides developers away from first homes, they are a nationally recognised form of affordable housing, and so the council cannot prohibit a developer from providing such homes. I would thus like to direct members to the proposed criteria for first homes at paragraph 2.5 that developers will need to follow should they insist on providing first homes. Before closing, I would like to thank members of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee for considering the report at their meeting on the 20th of September. Appendix B lists the points raised and my responses. Of note, I have asked officers to discuss with registered providers and developers what ownerships there are for bringing forward larger properties for shared ownership, as we tend to focus on anything up to 3 bedrooms at the moment. We don't seem to get anything larger than that. In conclusion, I would like to put forward the recommendation that the First Homes Technical Advice Note be recommended to Council for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Seconder?
Thank you, Leader. I'm happy to second.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Goody. Councillor Buckmaster.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just some comments. While first homes are always intended to stay first homes, I'm not sure that there's any designated period. So, you know, that in itself may be an issue. And I can see from the report that as a council, we don't think this is a useful model for this district. I think that's very much understood. But actually, I think to have the policies in place and the conditions, should somebody come forward and want to do it, is really helpful. So at least we've thought ahead and have done that. So again, yeah, I don't think it's useful for us, but at least we have some conditions in place should somebody come forward. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed, Eric. Any other comments from members? Okay, can we go for a vote? Those in favour? Thank you. That is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, there's no urgent business tonight, but before we close, I'd like to thank officers for the work you've done in preparing these reports that we've looked at this evening. Thank you very much indeed, and for your attendance this evening. Okay, no urgent business. I'm happy to close the meeting at